Hi, welcome to Back Care. This workout will be a shorter Pilates video specifically working on core stabilization principles to help with any chronic low back issues. Let's get started. Start lying here on your back, and we're going to just start with some nice breathing exercises here. So start by taking your hands down on towards your pelvis or towards your belly button, kind of low abdominal region. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now, depending on what's going on with your back, it may feel better to have your feet in closer or out further, or even resting up on some blocks or a few books, or even resting up fully on a chair, just depending on what's going on. So feel free to play around with your legs and your posture lying down onto your back. Next, take your hands up a little bit higher, just underneath your collarbone, so upper chest area. And direct your breath here for a few breaths. Again, breathing in through your nose to filter the air. And exhale, releasing out through your mouth. Really allowing those muscles up here to release, some of the accessory muscles of breath to just release with your exhale. And third, let's place our hands onto the sides of our ribs. And here as you breathe in, try to feel your breath really widen to the side. Notice if there are any restricted areas of breath. Bring your attention to them. Let's try to stay with the breath a little bit more through the rib cage through class today. Take your arms up to the ceiling, palms facing in, and now add some movement to that breath. Inhale, your arms open and widen as your ribs do. And exhale, gently close your arms as your ribs gently close in front. Engaging some abdominals there with your breath. Inhale. Widening and expanding, and exhale, feeling everything pull towards center and compress. One more time. Let's stay with the arms, but change the breath a little. Take an inhale here. Now on your exhale, slowly reach your arms back behind you. And feel your ribs pulling in and down slightly to support the weight of your arms moving back. Inhale, bring it back through. Exhale, take your arms back. Draw your ribs in and down to feel your abdominals, your obliques contract against the weight and the load of your arms. One more time like this. Full breath in, full breath out. As we just notice how the breath supports the weights of our arms. And then take your hands down to your pelvis. Landmark the heels of your hands to your hip bones, fingertips towards your pubic bone. Finding a little triangle. Rock your pelvis towards you and away from you, and notice the movements of the pelvis. And as your pelvis moves, your back responds. Gentle rocking here. And then find a comfortable placement, maybe in between those two extremes, where you're fairly in a neutral pelvis. So the hip bones and the pubic bone are around the same plane, and there may be a little space in your low back, and we can keep that. Draw your fingertips towards your hip bones and then walk them in a few inches. Draw down into the muscle belly and use your breath to slightly feel your lower abdominals connecting here underneath the padding of your fingertips. You may want to add like a little bit of a pelvic floor engagement to deepen that sense of those abdominals pulling in. I like to imagine that there's a sponge between the hip bones and the pubic bone, and on my exhale, it's like I'm squeezing out the sponge. And that will help with this lumbopelvic stability as we add the legs. So next, inhale, open your right knee out to the side. On your exhale, feel that sponge-like quality as you pull your right knee back to center. So there's a little tightening between your two hip bones in front of your pelvis. Inhale, open. Exhale, pull back in. So your lower abdominals and your inner thigh on your right leg work. One more like this. Left leg slowly open and draw in. Slow and controlled. Notice if your right leg is trying to do some extra activities here. Keep your pelvis really stable. Last one. Now we're going to add a little bit more load, so this will be more difficult. Feel free to stay with these knee drops. When you're ready, exhale, lift your right leg to tabletop. So the knee is above the hip, the foot is in line. And then lower your right leg back down all the way. Left leg slowly picks up. Can you notice how the muscles in your pelvis have to work really hard so that the pelvis doesn't rock from side to side? If you want to progress with this, as you lower the leg, only let the ball of your foot lower or tap your toe. Keep the heel off. If you want to progress even further, slowly switch your legs through air. And slowly switch. Being mindful here to use your breath to really create a good connection through your core. Keeping your ribs connected here. One more on each side, whatever version you're doing. Lower both feet down. Roll onto your side and then make your way up to hands and knees next. Find your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, and ground down through your shins. From here, finding a nice neutral pelvis and spine, so you've got a little arc through your low back here. And again, do what feels right, do what feels good for your body. Start to simply shift your body forwards and back, and try to maintain that neutral spinal curve. So as you hinge back, avoid sinking into your lumbar spine and also avoid rounding. Get a nice deep hinge through your hips. Come all the way to center and hold. Ground down through your shins and you should feel some of those lower abdominals reconnecting. On your next exhale, hover your right hand off with that same idea of connecting deep within your pelvic muscles. Inhale, lower. Exhale, left hand comes off. Your elbow can bend a little bit. Be mindful that your feet don't lift. And lower. The smaller the hover with your hands, the harder it will be to stabilize through your obliques and through your deep transversus abdominis that stabilizes your core. Next, keep your shoulders stable. We're doing a leg slide. Keep your pelvis nice and neutral here so your sits bones are reaching back, your tail is up. Exhale, slide your right leg slowly back. Maintain connection into the floor with both toes. Keep your pelvis square and then slide your right thigh back in. Left leg, slowly slide it back. Inhale, drag it in and through. Be mindful, like with the toe taps you did earlier, that as you alternate your legs, your pelvis doesn't start to rock from side to side. So recommit into those deep core muscles with your breath. Next, we're going to add the arm to the leg. Left hand comes to a hover, right leg reaches back. And pull everything back to center. Left leg slides back, right hand hover. Make sure you're not locking out to your elbows, especially the one that's already down. One more on each side. And return. Last one here. And release. Sit back into a little stretch. When you're ready, come all the way down onto your stomach next. Legs just hip distance apart. And then reach your arms all the way forward into a V position. Anchor your pelvis here through those 3 points, your pubic bone and your 2 hip bones. Feel your legs reaching long, your abdominals just slightly lifting up and away from your mat. Keep your head down to start and then just bend your elbows. Pull your forearms across the floor and feel your shoulders engage, pulling in through your mid-back. Slide your arms back forwards. Exhale, pulling in. Now, if this feels really good, start to add your upper torso. As you pull your arms in, bring your head and chest up a little bit. And then slide back through. Only come up to your bottom rib. Pull through your hands, slide your elbows and forearms down to draw your chest forwards. And return. The next one, we're going to stay lifted. Pulling in and up, hold. So here, come down a little bit so you're just at a hover. And then from there, slide your arms forwards and pull in. Try to really use your floor. Use the earth here. Reaching up and then sliding, pulling your hands and your forearms down. One more time, reaching forwards. Exhale, pulling in, hold, and lower all the way down. Open your legs, turn your thighs out, bend your knees, and bring your heels to touch. You can keep your hands here or place them underneath your forehead for support. Find your pelvis anchored and then exhale, squeeze your heels in towards each other. Find your glutes and your inner thighs engaging here. Hold for 3, 2, 1, little release. Exhale. As you squeeze your heels, can you feel your abdominals just gently pulling up? And release. One more time. Now keep this sense of connection, but extend your legs out. Straighten your knees as much as you can. Keep your pelvis anchored and then exhale, hover your right leg off. Hold it there. Your knee is strong, your toe is reaching out, and your leg is hovered off from your thigh bone. Lift your leg up an inch and down for 8, 7. Try to feel the base of your glute here engage. Keep your pelvis even on both sides. Be mindful that your knee doesn't start to bend. And lower down. Left leg, stretch it out long. Float your leg off. You'll notice one leg might be harder than the other. Pulses up an inch and down. Try to keep your pubic bone anchored. So don't lift your legs so high that your pelvis starts to move or your low back starts to extend. 4 more. Abs pull up as your thigh lifts. And 1, lower down. Now, feel free to do any of those last few exercises again, or we're progressing a little bit here into an X position with your body. Keep your head just slightly off of your mat. Anchor your pelvis, reach your legs. When you're ready, exhale, right arm and left leg come off. Hold for 3, 2, on 1, lower down. Left arm, right leg, float off, hold 3, 2, and 1, lower down. Still feel that core connecting again. Imagine that sponge between your hip bones and your pubic bone. Left side. 1 more on each side here. Exhale, lifting off, hold 3, 2, and 1, lower down. Last one, left arm, right leg, hold. Breathe and lower down. Push yourself back into a stretch, knees wide, feet together, maybe round through your spine here. And then come right back up to hands and knees. Bring your legs together this time. Squeeze your inner thighs. Push away to set your shoulders. Take a breath in. We're staying nice and neutral through the spine. On your exhale, hover your knees off 1 inch and hold. Nice, strong through your core. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower your knees back down. Feel free to sit back a little bit to relieve your wrists. Set your shoulders. Draw your abdominals up. Hover your knees. Squeeze your inner thighs. Holding for 3. Back of the neck long, 2. 1, lower your knees. Sit back a little bit. We're doing 3 more. Set your shoulders. Gaze forwards. Exhale, use your breath to lift your knees. Strong breath in, stay. Lower your knees down. Little sit back. 2 more. Squeeze your inner thighs. Pull your navel up to hover your knees. Remember that sponge connection through your hip bones. Lower your knees. Sit back last time. Shoulders set. Exhale. Hold. And then lower your knees down. Let's come back onto our backs for a little bit more core work. Knees bent, feet flat. Take your hands behind your head with your elbows nice and wide. So try to keep your hands not interlaced, just to keep a wide shoulder girdle here. Elbows are in your peripheral vision. Inhale, give me a little nod like you're saying yes. Exhale, curl your head and shoulders off. Your pelvis is back to that neutral position we had earlier. And we're looking at our knees. Pulses up here from your ribs for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, stay. Exhale, lower all the way back down. Inhale, little nod. Exhale, slowly curl forward. Feel your rib cage connect. Pulse up for 3. Feel your armpits wrap forwards, 2. And 1, stay. And then lower back down with control. 1 more like this. Inhale. Exhale, carve your shape forwards. Pulse for 3, 2, and 1. lower back down. From here, we're going to curl forwards and add on a little bit. So feel free to stay with just those ab preps. Right leg, fold it up. Take your right hand to your right thigh. Push your thigh away as you pull your thigh in. Stay here. Then pulse up for 3, 2, 1. Lower your upper body, lower your leg. Hand goes back behind your head. Remember that push-pull feeling. Curl forwards. Pull your right thigh up. Pulse your upper body for 3, 2, 1. Lower everything down. Exhale, curling up. Pulse for 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down one more time. Pulse for 3 and 2. Last one, lower everything down. Exhale. Curl forwards and hold. Left leg floats up. Left hand to the front of your left thigh. Hold that isometric contraction for 3, 2. On 1, pulse up. 3, 2, 1. Hand behind your head. Lower everything down. Curl forwards, float your left thigh up, pulse up. 3, 2, 1. Lower everything down. Keep your pelvis nice and stable. Float up, pulse. 3, 2, 1. Lower everything down. One more. 3 and 2 and 1. All the way down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Little rock from side to side. From here, come onto your side. Lying on your side, stack your shoulders, your hips, and your feet to the back of the mats. Top hand can be in front like a little kickstand, and lift your bottom rib just a little bit for a little bit of oblique connection and to lengthen your top waistband. Extend your top leg out. Inhale, slowly lift. Exhale, flex the foot and lower down. Inhale, point, reach. Exhale, push through your heel to lower through. Only go as high as your pelvis doesn't hinge up towards your waistband. 4 more. And 3. Last 2. Last 1. And then float your leg up a little bit higher than hip height if you can. Point your toe. Little circles for 8. 7. 6. 5. 4 more. For 4. 3. 2. And 1. Reverse your circle for 8. 7. Keep your thigh bone nice and parallel, toe and knee facing forwards for 4. 3. And 2. Last 1. Bend your knee in, lower down. Let's come to the other side next. Swing your legs around. All the way onto your side, shoulders and hips stacked. Feet in line, everything down the back of your mat. Bottom rib lifted, abdominals staying connected. Reach your top leg out nice and long. Inhale, float your leg up. Flex your foot, lower back down. Inhale, point lifts. And exhale, flex and lower. 4 more, really activating the side hip. And 3. Last 2. 1 more here, point, and then flex. And then point your toes, lift your leg up, strong knee, circle for 8. 7. Pelvis stays stable here for 4. 3. Keep your knee and toe facing forwards. Reverse for 8. 4 more for 4. 3. Reach long 2. And 1. Lower all the way down. From here, let's roll back onto our backs for a moment. Draw your feet a little bit closer in. Ground your feet down. Slowly start to roll your hips up, pressing down through your feet. And maybe it's just a little tiny hover. And then slowly peel your spine back down. If rolling up doesn't feel good, feel free to just push straight up and lower straight down. So that's just dependent on what's going on with your back at the moment. So follow the feel good. Do what feels right for you. We'll try 3 more here. Engaging your abs, your glutes, feeling a little pull in through your heels. And we don't go too high in this Pilates hip roll or bridge. So think just to your bottom rib. And let's do 1 more there. Peeling all the way down. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg out. If rotation feels good, you can take that leg across your body. Open your right arm out to the side, or simply just keep it on your back, hugging your knee in. Come all the way through and switch. Left shin pulls in, right leg reaching long. Again, you can stay here or take the leg across. Feel free to open your arm or keep the elbow bent. Roll onto your side to transition yourself up to seated. Always remembering to do that to be really safe for your back. And we'll finish here with crossed legs, round forwards over your legs, bowing forwards. Coming up, hands to your side, little side bend one way, reach. Nice, just subtle movements to finish here, and little side bend to the other side. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this was our low back care exercise. Take care. I hope you had a fun time finding strength and stability in your body.